O- Okay, guys, and we're back with another edition of Felons Talk. Today, John Gretsner is with me, and we're going to be talking about a guy named Sonny Burkett. And I know a
And
lot of
others.
I know a lot of stuff about Sonny, and John knows some stuff too. So we're going to get what he knows, and we're going to talk about some other stuff as
Yeah,
well.
we'll get into it. Then we're going to get into some other stuff along the same lines.
All right, let's
Uh,
go.
I want to make it clear that this is not a third-party call. I'm being taped.
Oh, don't worry
And
about it.
then I authorized this guy I'm talking to utilize it as book stuff, movie stuff, whatever. Okay, so the thing with Sonny Burkett is I go back to like the 1980s with him when I was in United States Penitentiary, Marion, Illinois.
Right.
There was always little whispers about Sonny that there's something wrong with him. He came out of New York and all that, and later on it came out he was informing to like the DEA or something on narcotic stuff up in New York.
Hmm.
Also, he was one of these guys that he had like 5 or 6 killings inside the pen, but they were kind of like cheap killings. They were soft targets.
Soft
And
targets.
it was perceived to be that this guy was going out killing people, and then the message is, "Don't fuck with me, I'm a killer, or I'll kill you." And these were like cheap kills he's doing, soft targets, right? The thing
I
he's
remember
missing is
this.
that killings don't scare another killer. Because
Right.
he's a killer too, right?
Right.
So
It's the
it
type
don't
of
really work that
it's
way.
the
So,
target that that gets you the status. If you have a real serious target, then you're a tough guy. If you're killing soft targets, then you're
that was
not.
conceived to be like a self-defense mechanism to try to keep people off him. Right? So anyhow, fast forward, he ends up down in the control unit and stuff like that. And me and Barry Mills, we were up on D range in the control unit, and Sonny was down on B range, the front half, the eight cells there. There's 18
B.
cells, but the first 8 are like general population in the control unit, and the last 10 are disciplinary segregation in the back. Anyhow, he's on the front of B range. Anyhow, he gets with the cops down there and unit managers and all that. And he wants to call me and Barry Mills down there one at a time and talk to us because he's basically stuck right now in the control unit.
Wait a minute.
He's
Stop
trying to
for a
get the
minute,
fuck
bro.
out.
Stop for
He
a minute.
knows people have been getting whacked down in the control unit. You know, it's not unheard of that people will saw through shit and stuff and get to you. And it's already come out on him that he's a DEA informant out of New York. So he calls me down there first and he's talking to me.
Where are you though? Where are you? In the
We're
cage?
in Illinois in the control unit.
No, I know that. I'm saying you're on B range, and he what? And
No,
he's
I'm in dog range, Delta range. Sonny's on B range. And he got with the cops to pull us down there.
Look, what I'm saying
They
is
pulled
what.
me first and then pulled Barry down.
Right, but what I'm asking you is, were you in the rec cage on B range
Yeah, I
when
was
you
in the rec cage in
talking?
front of his cell.
Okay, now I understand.
So we can talk like this, maybe 6-8 feet apart.
Right, right.
Anyhow, he's talking just regular old shit, and then and it's kind of nonsensical. And then I split, and then he calls Barry down there and does the same thing with him. Barry comes back. Barry says something's up with that guy. He's up to something.
Right.
Now I don't know what all he was doing, if he was wearing a wire, trying to set shit up or whatever.
Right.
But it come out later. He was telling the police, because you know in the control unit every 90 days the executive body committee comes in from Washington D.C. and the North Central Regional Director to review people and letting them out of the control unit, right?
Right.
Well, they were there at that time. So he's telling the police that we were down there talking to him about taking the fucking executive committee hostage.
Hmm.
See, and now he's giving up information on it so he can get some little gift and get on down the road, right? And that's all bunk.
Right.
It's all bullshit.
Right.
So, and you know, and that's what informants do, man. They go to Fantasy Island and they make shit up, right?
Absolutely.
A case in point. I'm going to take you back a ways now to the 70s. I was in another state pen, and I was back in C-Max, and I caught a case back there on a dude. They blew it up into a big old thing, said I lit a guy on fire and all that. Well, they said I lured him to the front of my cell and hit him with some gas, lit him on fire. Well, technically that's true, but it wasn't a lot of gas. It wasn't really bad. But I had like 12 rotten apples and oranges. And when he was running around, I hit him in the head. "Pow, you fucking punk."
Right.
You know, I treat you like a friend. "Pow, he's a fucking drug addict." I kept drugs in his pocket, kept money in his pocket. And then all he had to do was carry some weed out
Right.
to some partners of mine, the native guys, the Native Americans, and he started burning us for it. So when I found out about it, I just, I couldn't get to him. So
Right.
I lured him to close as I could to myself and just started hitting him in the head with some rotten fruit when he was running around on fire, right? He wasn't burning that bad. But
Right. Gotcha.
so they moved us over to a new slammer called MCLU, a maximum custody living unit. It was 5 tiers high. The 5th tier was PC,
Right.
but it's all screened in. Everything's separate. Tiers 4, 3, and 2 are for the regular guys, MCLU. And then the first tier is for storage stuff. And they hired ex-military to run it. Okay, when we're going up in there, a sergeant tells me, because I'm going up on the 4th tier, a sergeant tells me, "Hey, Gretsner, watch out, there's a fucking rat up there." That's what he told me. I looked at him. I said, "Oh, okay." So they moved me up there. So it's me, a native dude, Gary Goodwin, Frank Avenda, John Rainey, and the so-called rat, Tom Srti.
Okay.
So fast forward, it turns out Srti's been wearing a wire on the cops out on the main line on corruption, all kinds of stuff out there, right?
Right.
There was a whole state legislature investigation on this shit and everything, right? This is in 1975.
Wow.
Okay, so we're up there with this dude. This dude's making a lot of phone calls every night, stuff like that. He's reporting into the state attorney generals and the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and all this type of stuff. So, but we ain't really got no static with him. Now, anybody can access this tier. The cops can access it because it's the back of D block. And cops are the ones that got the keys to that, not us, right?
Right.
And then the key on the other side, the door, they got a big prison lock door. It's like a Folgers lock out of Illinois. They say it's unpickable, right?
Right.
Okay, so fast forward, they come out, and we're out on the tier all day until late at night. And then they come to lock us up, and they find Srti dead. He's got a rope around his neck, and he's tied to the bed, and he's like he's hanging or something, right?
Yeah.
Well, so they panic. So what happens? They take the native guy, Gary Goodwin, out to a county jail because they found some of the same twine in his cell as a clothesline that was wrapped around this guy's neck.
Right.
So he's in the county jail, and he runs into an old bank robber out, I think, Alabama, named Kenneth Bankston. Well, Kenneth Bankston pops up in court later and say Gary Goodwin fucking confessed to him that him, me, Frank, and JR killed this fucking guy Srti.
Right.
Well, so Gary Goodwin gets fucking indicted. He goes to trial. We testify in his own behalf. And what happens is they bring in a guy named Red Rudinsky. He's an old safe man. Used to blow safes with nitro and shit way back in the days. Now he's a security expert for 3M, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. So he comes in with all his little lock picks and tension bars and little fucking locks, and he's wowing the jury, opening these locks back and forth and all that. And he says these big prison locks are unpickable. So we bring in one of our guys, old Fergie. So Fergie has been picking these locks with the stiff earphone wire from the headphones, right?
Yeah.
So we bring him in, put him on the stand, and the DA just knows he can't pick it because Red Rudinsky, the security expert, says you can't pick him. He opens up Red Rudinsky's little, 3-panel little wallet with all his picks and tension bars in it, and says, "Your preference, Mr. Ferguson." Fergie says, "Okay, this will work, that'll work." He picks it, he opens it in 60 seconds, and he relocks it in 58 seconds. Hands down, acquittal. Gary gets acquitted. Right after that, they indict me, Frank, and JR for the same thing. Because a dude named Gary Smith on the 5th tier said he seen me come down the tier behind this dude, garrote him with a wire or a rope, drag him into a cell. He heard a struggle, and then it got quiet. He said he's seen this in the reflection of the windows, but there's a problem with that. the windows are so dirty you can't see anything, number one. Number two, all the light bulbs on the tier are out because we're smoking tie sticks and we don't like bright lights. So what they do is they bring in the homicide detectives and the DA. They bring in a window cleaning crew. They scrub the fucking windows with Windex so they're sparkling like mirrors. They put in literally 1,000-watt light bulbs, big fucking giant light bulbs on the tiers. And they're on the 5th tier, and guys on the 4th tier, detectives are walking back and forth, and they're filming the reflection in the windows to try to bolster these guys' testimony. Because Gary Smith, the one that said I did this, well, there was a guy named I forget his name. He testified against Gary Goodwin and got out. So no, Gary Smith is trying to testify against me and get out. So, but they took lie detectors. Their lie detector tests are all fucked up. They can't get nothing, no truthful answers out of them. So we're indicted for fucking murder, and finally he ain't getting no action. He's down in the Washington County Jail. He sends me a wire through his old lady who's in the women's joint out there. He says, "Man, send your lawyer down to see me in the jail with a tape recorder." So I sent Tom Rowe down there. He was my lawyer at that time on that firebombing case, right?
Right.
And he goes down there. Gary gives him a fucking sworn statement. He says, "Listen, man," he recants. He says, "Man, we were lying. We've been lying all along. We're just trying to get out of jail." See, so that's what you're dealing with. And in pretrial, we got the fucking charges dismissed, right? Okay. So, we were just falsely accused by another fucking informant, right?
By the way, I know both John Rainey and Frank Gavenda. In fact, I got a little story about Frank. Frank escaped from Lewisburg in a trash truck.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting locked up for that.
He got in the back of a trash compactor truck, escaped out of Lewisburg. They busted him out in California.
Yeah, it wasn't long after either. A month. So, is he all right?
He's out in the streets. Last I heard, he's out in the streets south Minneapolis if he's still alive.
Yeah. I know.
JR's dead. He OD'd.
He OD'd, yeah. I heard he died of liver cancer.
They found him on dead. Frank's old lady, he OD'd and died on her couch. He just shot some heroin, OD'd and gone.
Wow. Good kid.
I got it locked down right now, man. They're locking us all down. Something's going on.
Okay, bro. Listen, that was good.
I'll be another bullshit informant.
Yeah, all right.
I'll see you later.
All right, take it easy.
Have a good day. Stay up, man.
All right, appreciate it. All right, see you tomorrow.
The caller has hung up.
Okay, so now John doesn't know much about Sonny Burkett, but I know a lot. First of all, Sonny Burkett was in the Attica riots. I forget when that was. I think it was 71. He was still a young fucking guy, and he testified against an inmate there who killed a guard during that riot. Okay, Sonny was a star witness in that murder. When you kill a guard in prison, and if you testify for the state or whatever, they usually reward you pretty good. Anyway, Sonny gets out. He's banging around. He's shooting heroin. He's pulling robberies. He gets arrested in California for a bank robbery, and he ends up in the LA County jail. Okay. While he's in LA County, he kills an inmate. And he gets a life sentence for that, less time for the bank robbery. And he gets sent to Marion. And he's over in I Block, which is the segregation unit. And he's being processed to come over to the control unit, which is H unit. It takes a month or so. There's a procedure you got to go through. And while he's over there waiting to come to the control unit, he starts stabbing people. In the segregation unit, he'll get you up to the bars and then stab you through the bars. But the thing was, the people that he was stabbing were soft targets, what John calls a soft target. In other words, they were people who weren't tough, people who weren't aggressive, people who just wanted to mind their own business and do their own time. He would lure them up to the bars and try to kill them. And the word was coming over to us over in H unit. And like John said, everybody was like, what the fuck's going on with this guy, man? Why is he, stabbing all these weaklings? You know what I'm saying? And this is the mentality of these homicidal maniacs over there in H unit with me. This is their mentality. Like, so you're telling me he killed 2 or 3 weak guys? Well, that don't make them tough. They were weak guys anyway. So we're not going to give him any credit for that. Did he kill anybody tough? Did he kill a dangerous motherfucker? If he did, well then we'll give him some respect, but not for the bullshit he's doing. And why is he doing it? Why is he trying to create this image of a killer? What's going on with him? What's in his background that makes him want to create this image? Is there a reason for it? And he became a suspect at that point. Suspect meaning like, what's really going on with this guy? And it came out later that he was, an informant, okay? But this is where it gets crazy. So, Sonny killed a guy by the name of Ben Hogan. I did this story a few weeks ago on another video. Ben Hogan was the guy who raped and murdered the dietitian in Atlanta, the female dietitian. And he pled guilty to it. He had admitted to it, and he was waiting to go to Marion at the same time that Barry Mills was waiting to go to Marion for the murder of John Marsloff. And so Barry talked Hogan into giving up a statement saying, essentially that Barry was not the one who killed Marsloff and that he knew nothing about that murder. Ben Hogan claimed that he committed that murder. In other words, he was essentially exonerating Barry Mills and Mark Bartosh from that murder. He was saying, no, they didn't do it. I did it. Because he knew that he was never going to get out of prison because he had killed a staff member. And when you kill a staff member, it's all over for you. Okay, you're never going to get a parole under the old law. And that's when it was back in the 79, 80, something like that. So he gave a statement, a written statement, notarized, okay? And Sonny Burkett knew this, and Sonny, while Hogan was sitting on the ground playing chess with a guy inside of a cell, they were playing chess. Sonny was on the tier with Hogan and a guy by the name of Sandman. Sonny comes up from behind and stabs him like 17 times, right? Kills Hogan. Hogan dies. Sonny cleans up the blood, takes his guy and puts him in his cell and covers him up with a blanket. He tells Sandman, listen, man, I'm probably going to get caught for this murder. If you want to, just go ahead and tell on me and see if you can get yourself a good deal. Maybe they'll let you out of prison or something, right? Anyway, so Sonny's in the cell right next to where the body is. Their cells are like right there. They're next to each other. They bring the food around. They put Ben Hogan's tray in his door, in the food slot, and they move on and they feed the rest of the tier. Sonny reaches out, takes the guy's tray, hand over hands it to himself, and eats the food, then puts the empty tray back in front of the cell. So when they pick up the empty trays after the meal is over, it looked as if he had ate his meal, right? Anyway, at the stand-up count at 4 o'clock, this guy couldn't stand up, and they brought the guy named Spicer. They brought him over. He was the physician's assistant, and they found him. He pulled his covers back and realized that he was been stabbed to death. And so at that point, they knew that it either had to be Sonny or Sandman. And anyway, that was okay. Well, anyway, so Sonny, now, mind you, all these killers over in H Unit with me are questioning it. What's going on with Sonny Burkett? Why is he doing all this? What's the motive? Like, why is he trying to make everybody think that he's dangerous when obviously he's not that dangerous, because he's just taking out weak people for no reason. The only real serious target that he had was Ben Hogan, and Ben Hogan was a piece of shit. Now, this is where it gets interesting. According to Barry, he was given an order, sent over by Barry Mills to kill Ben Hogan. Ben Hogan had given a statement against for Barry Mills, saying that he had committed the Marsloff murder. They were worried that he might change his mind and go against change his mind about that statement and try to and they wanted to just make sure that he couldn't do that, so they had him killed so that statement, that piece of paper that he had signed and notarized, would be the only document available for Barry to use as a defense in his murder case. One thing leads to another, and word comes back from California that Sonny was a snitch, and he had worked with the cops, and he did this and he did that. And at that point, Sonny got real scared. This is I believe Tommy Silverstein had gone out to California to testify in a murder case, a defense witness. And when he came back, he brought the news about Sonny Burkett, and it was all over the place that Sonny was a rat, So Sonny at that point gives a statement saying that the Aryan Brotherhood wanted him to kill Ben Hogan in order to silence Ben Hogan in case he wanted to change his mind about the statement that he had given to help Barry. This is what he testified to, and so that's why Barry couldn't beat the case. That's why and he testified against Tommy Silverstein and Clay Fountain in regards to, I believe it was the murder of either Chappelle or the murder of Cadillac Smith. Okay, so anyway, now he goes into the witness protection program. Okay. Oh, before this happens, they send Sonny to Springfield, Missouri for medical, because while he was stabbing Ben Hogan, he accidentally stabbed himself in the knee, and he needed some kind of surgery on his knee. And while he was being routed from, what they used to do is they would send you from Springfield to Terre Haute, and you'd wait for the bus from Terre Haute to go to Marion. It might be a week or so. You just held over in Terre Haute. So while he was a holdover in Terre Haute, he committed another murder in another soft target. Some little black guy who was actually in the camp, who was a minimum security prisoner, was brought in to because he had gotten some bullshit ass write up while he was in the camp. And Sonny decided for some reason he wanted to kill this guy, and he laid in the cut. Right? Here's the deal. At the same time this was going on, Ronnie Bruscino, who was a big Mexican mafia guy who is still in ADX to this day, along with a guy named Bones and a guy named Dog, were indicted on a murder in Terre Haute. And they were waiting to go to trial. So Sonny tells Ronnie, he says, listen, I'm going to kill this guy, and you can run up and try to, save the guy, and that'll help you in court when you go that, you try to help somebody that was being murdered. Because Sonny, this is how Sonny thinks, right? Remember what he did with Sandman? He told Sandman, go ahead and tell on me so you can get something. Anyway, so he goes to kill this guy, and Ronnie Bruscino kind of tries to intercede, but in the process of interceding, Sonny stabs him as well and collapses his lung, okay? This is like, oh, we're getting this information. We're back in control unit, and this is just some more crazy shit that Sonny had done, man. Like, what the fuck is going on with Sonny, man? Why is he doing all this shit, Anyway, make a long story short, he gets indicted on that murder and gets another life sentence. And it was after that he became involved in testifying against Barry Mills and Mike Bartosh in that murder case for Ben Hogan. Anyway, so the story goes. Anyway, that murder, the murder of Ben Hogan, was in the indictment in 2005 against Barry Mills and the Aryan Brotherhood. That was one of the predicate murder acts that was considered in the RICO trial of all those guys. There was like 8 murders, and like about 7 or 8 attempted murders. That was one of the predicate murder acts that they used against Barry Mills, T.D. Bingham, to try to get them the death penalty in 2005. Now, I don't know for sure whether Sonny was actually at that trial or not, but I do know that if you look at the indictment, that was one of the predicate murder acts that they had. Sonny disappeared into the witness protection program at that point, and he was sent to MCC Chicago. On the 6th floor of MCC Chicago, they had a witness protection unit, and it was mostly for guys that were testifying in murder cases that happened inside the prison system. While he was up there, there was Baby Huey was there, and Bernard Welch was there, Larry Vaughn was there, Bobcat was there, and a few other people. And they had the escape, where they escaped from the 6th floor and went down. That was Baby Huey, and that was also Bernard Welch. Anyway, that's another story. I believe I already told that story at a different time, but that's when they stopped. They changed that. They took that floor and they used it. They didn't use it for the witness protection anymore. It was blown up after that. And I believe Sonny tried to rape Bobcat. This guy's, he's all over the place with this fucking craziness, right? He tried to rape Bobcat. And while he was doing that, I think that's what got him kicked out of the witness protection program. So there you have 3 murders that he committed. One was the one in LA County. The other one was the one in I Unit, Ben Hogan. And the other one was a little black guy in Terre Haute. All these were considered soft targets. And there were other people that he stabbed that were also soft targets that were, that that didn't die or anything like that. But all I know is that Bobcat was eventually released. He died on the streets of heart problems. Uh, Larry Vaughn got paroled. Bernard Welch, I don't know what's happening with him. He might be out by now. Uh, Baby Huey got out after doing 36 years, and he passed away a few years ago. And the question is, did Barry really send word over to I Unit? No. That was what Sonny Burkett made up. That was Sonny taking a murder that he committed and trying to lay it at the feet of somebody else who was a bigger target for the government than he was. He did this strictly to try to get favor with the government, to try to get transfers to places and to make his time easier. And I think that's what John was trying to say when he was talking about, the type of mindset that these informants have when they enter into agreements to become informants. They begin to manipulate the system, and they may be just as bad, if not worse, than the people that they end up testifying against. They make up a lot of lies. They try to feather their nest by doing despicable things, and they play lots of games, and there's a whole whole bunch of examples of that, and I'll try to give you some more examples in the future. But right now, that's it. This has been a long video for me. This is 32 minutes, so I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Please hit the like and subscribe. Send me some money if you want. My Cash App is there. And or send a super or whatever, thanks or whatever you want to do. I appreciate everything you guys do, and I appreciate the fact that you watch my show. And if you want to know anything, if you have any questions that you want answered, send them to me in the comments section. And also, I leave my my email address in the description.